Yo, what's going on, YouTube fam? Right, today, what's been going on in the news and what I want to talk about, especially dealing with that corporate job, is again, we're going to talk about AI and what kind of tools are you guys using right now, if you're using any. I had a client the other day. We had a meeting, and he's a tax professional. And I showed him ChatGPT for the first time. I did the, talk to it straight feature on ChatGPT. And yeah, he was pretty much amazed at what it could do. He really had no idea about what was really going on with AI right now. So how many people, my question is, how many people are there out there in professional services who, still don't know anything much about AI and what it could do, its capabilities? You know what I mean? How many people do you think, lawyers, accountants, any kind of professional services where you're running numbers, crunching numbers, even lawyers, right? To a great extent. How many people do you think really think about this stuff, know about it, and even to a higher extent utilize it? Comment, let me know what you think that number is right now. Because it seems that really there's still a lot of people, even though some people are plugged in, and sometimes, I'm looking at this stuff a lot, and it surprises me still that some people are not aware of what's going on as far as what the possibilities are, what the use cases are, or even that particular applications, language models exist, and then how to use them nonetheless. So that's a big question for me. So just to give a little story, we did a little onboarding, and after the onboarding, going through the process of getting him set up for his solution, I said, what? I saw him running around a bit and doing a lot of stuff that he could pretty much kind of get done without having to do as much work. So I said, what? After we finished the onboarding, I said, hey, let me show you something, right? And the funny thing is, I was using it to assist in the onboarding, because sometimes when you're trying to find the words, even for something that you do all the time, it's a little difficult, especially on the spot, and how it needs to be done in order to communicate in a certain way. So I was using it, and I said, all right, let me show him this. Let me find out if he knows about this, first of all, and if he doesn't, I'm gonna show it to him. So, I pull out my phone and I pull up ChatGPT, and, I'll put it on the voice command feature, and start talking to it. And I say, hey, I'm here with my client, and I want you to give him a demonstration, really, of your capabilities. And so that's what I told ChatGPT, and she took it from there. I got the girl voice on, so she took it from there, and he was amazed that this existed, right? Now I spoke in my other video about a video I was watching. I'm not, I don't remember the guy's channel, but I'll try to link it in the description a little later. But when I saw what his self-taught language model, and really it wasn't even just a model, it was an agent status, because he was utilizing it as an agent. So it was actually executing commands, evidently, from what they said on the video. So, to say that some people don't know, say, ChatGPT exists, but then you have on the other side, I don't know how many people that is, but how many people do you think that is that are actually developing these models for their businesses, for their profession, for their career, in order to assist them in the ways that it can assist them, whether that be marketing, whether that be operations, whether that be legal, whatever it is. How many people really even know what's going on, what's on the horizon, what's coming, what the so-called powers that be, as Biden said and Bernie said, the oligarchy, what they have, how many people know what these guys have planned for them? When they're talking about, okay, we're going to give everybody UBI, universal basic income, which I'm not opposed to, but what I am concerned about is how certain people think about things based on their position, right? Because if you're thinking, hey, I have a business and I can eliminate X amount of people from my business, eliminate people that I have to pay, versus empowering your workers or people that you work with in order to utilize these tools as tools versus replacements. How many people are actually aware of that? I think some people have some indication, but what I'm realizing is that there's a bunch of people who really have no indication at all about what's going on. And if they have no idea what's going on right now, is this a situation where one day, they just wake up and they're like, well, why am I not getting any calls right now? Why am I not getting any business? Because the people who are so-called in the know are utilizing these tools in order to take business away from you. And that's if you're in professional services, right? Not even just talking about somebody that has a so-called job, right? So these are really the questions that have been running through my mind right now. When certain things really hit to where it's undeniable, which I think it already has to us. Well, obviously not undeniable yet. For somebody that, is looking at it, it seems like that is coming fast, but, it's just not quite yet. So this is going to be real interesting. Let me know how you guys feel. Do you feel like you're prepared for this, AI revolution, as they say? Because even when I'm looking at different things, different articles, different stories, sometimes I feel not like I don't know a lot. I try not to assume I know too much, because you always need to be able to have the ability to learn. But I feel pretty confident that I know what's going on, because I'm staying abreast of things, and I'm reading, and I'm paying attention, and I'm utilizing tools. Actually, the funny thing is, there's a video I'll share with you. I'll share what I learned in this video. The person was talking about, and I'm going to try to reference his name, or maybe put it in the profile, maybe another video. I'll go into that. But he basically gave some guidelines, which I thought were pretty good, right? He was saying, one, there's so much going on. You kind of got to focus on what your use case is going to be, what your possible use case is going to be. And then look at the tools that would be useful for that use case, right? Specifically. So instead of trying to keep up with everything, it's more keeping up with what will help you in your particular use case scenario, which I thought was pretty helpful and pretty insightful, a good way to pretty much look at things, to manage all the different information that's kind of coming out right now. In addition to that, It's talking about prompt management and your ability to create certain prompts, or if you're not creating them, at least know where to find them so you can utilize these prompts in order to make your workflow smoother, so you have less friction, as people say, as he said and other people say. I've heard that before. Friction meaning whatever's stopping you from easily utilizing something, kind of, going against the grain, to where you might be like, oh man, I got to do another prompt. Some people might not know what that means. So usually most of these AI tools, if not all at this point, rely on prompting. So basically what that means is the better you can explain something to the model, is the better kind of answer or output you're going to get from the model, especially if you're trying to do something specific, pretty specific, right? So you have, whether you're writing a book or you're crunching numbers for whatever it is, what does that prompt look like that will allow you to execute and get the response that you really want? Because sometimes, AI, you can get different responses if you don't keep these prompts consistent. And if you find a prompt or a wording on how you want something, you probably want to keep that in a file or keep that in your workflow, kind of assess what those prompts are, and then at a certain point expand on those prompts that'll allow you to basically get a similar or the same result, or at least the result that you're really looking for, right, at the time. So that's like a gem right there. That's definitely a gem, right? You're prompting. What is the prompt that enables you to kind of get the result that you're looking for consistently, right? Whether it be image generation, whether it be like I said, whether it be like you're writing, you're editing, you're creating copy, whatever it is, how do you keep the consistent kind of theme, kind of feel to whatever that output is going to be, whether it's a document or a video or some images. So really the question is, how many people really know what's going on right now? One, just on a basic level of, I know that these tools exist. I might not use them every day, but I know these tools exist, and maybe I've played around with it, right? Versus somebody who knows basically nothing about the tool at all, even the existence of it, right? So these are some key things to think about. It came to my mind just looking around. It's like when somebody gives you a warning, hey, the tsunami's coming, and it's like, certain people can see it because they know the signs, but then you have some people who's just standing on the beach, like, look at the wave, you know what I mean? What's going on? And then it's like too late, because by the time they figure out, hey, maybe I should run and get out of here, the wave is upon them. And it's a wrap. You know what I mean? Like follow the animals type of thing. When the dogs jet and the birds go, yeah, you might want to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? So canary in the coal mine, as they say, similar similar thing, And how many people is just gonna catch the wave on it in full brunt, and just take that hit, right? And what happens if you're taking a hit like that? You usually drizzle, So let me ask you. My question to you, everybody, is, how much do you guys utilize? How many tools do you know about? Do you utilize them every day? Do you use them every day in your daily life? Do you see in whatever industry you're in, whatever job you have, how you can utilize these tools, in order to make yourself, whether be more efficient, take some work off your plate, do it, for you? Because that's what we're talking about. Because the first set of tools, large language models, asking something gives you answers, create documents, expand on ideas, create images. But now with the AI agents, they're talking about, they can actually complete the tasks that you set for it to a certain extent. So instead of saying, hey, or your process could be, hey, tell me about the Bahamas, and vacation to the Bahamas. As far as, is it a good place to go? Where should I go in the Bahamas? Right? You can ask it some questions like that, but then after it tells you all of that, you can say, hey, you know what? Book that trip for me, and it'll go in, book the trip, buy the ticket, book the Airbnb, everything you need, right, for the trip that you tell it to do. It can now actually do it, right? What does that say for, travel agents already have been decimated by the internet to a great degree. I was just surprised to hear one of my friends, he booked a trip and he actually utilized a travel agent. I think he has some issues with that, but nonetheless, he used a travel agent, right? Which was interesting, because I haven't heard that in quite a while. But will that just take, the last bit of travel agents out, and then even the travel websites? How about those guys? Right? What about advertising? What about, publishing on your website? If people say, for instance, the whole thing with Google is that, well, it's search based, and if people aren't searching for things anymore, then how do you advertise to those people? Which is a great question. But at the same time, we see how Google has been implementing it. I don't know if you guys saw it, but what they have been doing, I think you probably saw it at this point, because what they've been doing is, this guy's crazy. What they've been doing is, as you search, they'll give you a little AI answer at the top, and then give you the search results at the bottom. So where's that going? Right? I'm sure they're trying to figure this out. Well, I know they're trying to figure this out, because they're in it. They're definitely in it. So again, the question I pose is, how many people do you think have some kind of grasp, at least a basic grasp, of what's going on with AI in relation to what their career is going to look like? How many people know a little? How many people you think really know enough? Or I don't know if there's an enough, but I guess enough to be utilizing it right now, right? Let's say that. And then what tools are you guys using right now? Are you using ChatGPT? Has anybody tried the DeepSeek? I've tried it. It seems like ChatGPT to me, but the key thing is open source, which I definitely appreciate, because that says that, well, we can have some control. It's just not totally in the hands of the billionaire oligarchs that seek to take your job, you know what I'm saying? Tell you, hey, find something better to do, buddy. You know, all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, this is what's going on running through my mind as I'm pretty much, you know, watching Bloomberg and watching certain programs, and I'm seeing what they're saying, right? Seeing what they're saying, seeing what some of these guys who are heading these things are saying, and all of those key things, right? To find out what's really going on. So like, comment, and share, obviously, and just let me know what kind of tools you guys are using, how much you guys are using AI, if you are, and maybe what are some of your best tools. I would say I use ChatGPT a lot. I also use a lot of image generation tools. So I use Leonardo. I don't know if you guys heard about that. Use Leonardo, pretty good. Use also what is it called? Midjourney. I've used a lot of them. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's talk about it. Peace.